Welcome to week 3 of online learning. I hope you're doing okay. I recognize the challenges that some of you are facing, all of us are facing really at home, trying to do the learning, accessing technology, all those things, and I really appreciate your efforts. I'll just let you know, learning or teaching, teaching from home isn't the easiest either, right? I don't have access to all of my technology that I usually use, having to change lessons a little bit. There's always challenges or like interruptions around home. Hey there, Ryan. How are you doing?
Good.
Good. What are you working on?
Calculus homework.
Your calculus homework. Oh, what do you need help in?
Differential equations.
Differential equations. Well, come on over here and I'll help you out a little bit. Do you know the fundamental theorem of calculus? Yeah, he's pretty good. Good. I'll get you later there, okay? Good. Yeah, so if you look here, right, and you look at the... Sorry about that interruption. Things happen. Anyways, I just wanted to say I really appreciate all your efforts, in all these different learning environments that we're facing. The other thing is, of course, each of our situations are different. You're taking on maybe different roles than you're used to. Maybe you're looking after siblings. Maybe you're responsible for cooking. Maybe you're, doing work outside of the home. And, all those things are important. I mean, I've had to take on some different roles that I'm not usually used to. Oh, just a second there, sorry. Hey there.
Hi, Dad.
Hi.
I have trouble with my...
With your ballet. What are you having trouble with?
I'm having trouble with my first position.
First position. Don't worry, I got this. Okay, so first position, right? The key thing is to have your feet out, okay? Your heels sort of together, and then just sort of bring your arms in like that. Yeah, you see that?
Yeah.
Yeah, good. Okay, good luck with your ballet. Okay, any other questions you can ask me, okay?
Okay, thanks.
You're welcome. Yeah, like I said, I've had to take on some different roles as well, and so I appreciate, what might be going on at your house. Just do your best to get the work done, and let me know if you've got any issues, and I'll do my best to help you out. All right, good luck with week 3, and we'll see you. Hello and welcome to Challenge 2, and we're going to look at loops. Now, loops in programming is the idea that you can repeat something over and over and over again. Why this is important and why you want to have it looping automatically is that you don't want to write out the same command again and again and again. When programs run, they generally run from top to bottom in a sequential or one after the other manner, and if you want something to keep doing something, you don't want to have to keep writing that command over and over again. So what they've got is different types of loops. Obviously, Scratch has simplified it a little bit, but the big ideas, the concepts are the same, whether they're in Scratch or C++ or whatever programming language you look at. Now, just some examples of the loops that are here, and these are in the notes, obviously. The forever loop, and this would be while true. So the idea that it would be going on forever as long as the program's running. Okay, and so basically if you looked at this little explanation here, forever, okay, so while the program, once the program started, it's going to move one step. The sprite's going to move one step forward forever. Okay, there's a repeat, and what this does is it limits the number of repeats, okay? That limits the number of loops that it goes through. So in a repeat, we've set it to 10 times. So there's a specific number of times that it will run. And so it says repeat instructions until that set number of times. And so in this case, it would only move forward basically 10 steps because it would move forward one step, okay? And then again and again and again until you've got up to 10. You can have it repeat until, and usually this is until some condition is true. So for example, you might have the enemy moving back and forth until the number of lives is 2 for some reason, and then or the level is over or something like that. So you might want to keep it doing maybe until the score is 10, and then it changes. So there's some sort of condition, maybe lives, health, score, whatever it is, that we haven't predefined. We don't know if it's going to be 10 steps. We don't know if it's going to be 20 steps. We know it's not going to be forever, but we're going to wait until something happens, okay? So in this case here, it is waiting until the key is pressed, okay? And then it moves one step. Now, So what this next little bit here is just an example script of where you might use these loops, okay? Now, what I'd like you to do is sort of pause the video here, put this in, and then try to figure out on your own how this is working and what it's doing. The best way to learn programming is to look at the code, predict what this is going to do, and then test it out, okay? Because you need to start thinking like the computer, okay? It's a little bit different than our usual way of thinking. Computers are very, they just follow exactly what it said, right? They don't interpret things. They don't try to make second guesses. They do exactly what you tell them. So my suggestion is pause the video here, okay? Put this in, predict what's going to happen, run it, and they'll give you a little explanation. Okay, so hopefully you've done that. I'm going to explain this and understand how this works. So let's go over to Scratch here. Where's Scratch? There, Scratch. And so I put the code in. Let me sort of, if I can zoom in a little bit. There we go. So when the sprite is clicked, so this is one of these events, okay? So when the sprite is clicked over here, what's going to happen? Well, then we're going to go into a repeat. These repeats, just to show you, are under the control. So there's your repeat, there's your forever. Okay, there's some ifs and thens we'll get to later on. Wait until or repeat until, right? Those are some of the loops that we've looked at. So that's where that came from. So repeat until, well, what happens? Again, this is an event here. Oh, sorry, that's a sensing one. So the sensing is looking for a key press. Okay, let's just put this one in here. So when the key is, or the spacebar is pressed, what does it do? So it is going to repeat until it moves. Repeat until you press that spacebar. And so what is it repeating? It's repeating that moving one step. So if I turn this on, okay, and click on the Scratch guy, okay, the cat, he is going to keep moving until I press that spacebar. And then when I press that spacebar, it ends. Now, one thing I want you to take a notice of is that when let me just set that back, sorry. When I click on him, notice how this is turned yellow, okay? That means it's running, and when I click off or I press the space bar, this is no longer working. So this gives you a sort of a visual indication of what lines of code are running. Obviously, this is all sort of running because it's constantly checking and repeating this code. It will keep running, okay? So yeah, that is the basic idea there, okay? So try to make sure that you understand that. Obviously, you could try changing it and see what happens. Now going back, this is going to be the challenge here, right? Create a program in which a different sprite, not the cat, okay, so we're going to have to change the sprite, moves forward forever, okay? If the user presses the arrows, either up, down, left, right, sort of similar to what we did last week, the sprite points in the indicated direction and the cat keeps moving, or the sprite, won't be the cat, keeps moving in that direction. So again, what I'd really like you to do is stop the video here and do this, okay? On your own, try to figure this out. The best way, the only way really that you're going to learn this is to try it on your own, make the mistakes, correct it, and try to figure it out. Just sort of listening and watching what I'm going to do next isn't going to help you as much as trying it a bit on your own. And then I understand you're going to run into issues. Unfortunately, I'm not right there over your shoulder to help you out, so you can take a look at the video, but also if you want, check with a friend or check with me, all right? I'm usually online and can help you out as well. All right, so if you've given it your best work, okay, follow me over here to Scratch and I'll sort of explain a little bit about what's going on. So first of all, let's get rid of this and let's get rid of our cat, okay? So we can just trash that by cat. Now, if you want a new sprite, these are things down here. The very bottom one, choose sprite, and it opens up and you can filter and sort of put things in, whatever you want. I'm just going to put something simple in. Let's put in bananas today. Bananas, there's our bananas, and we could reset that position. Notice you could change the size if you need to as well, and there it is there. So what we want to do, if we go back to that challenge, it says we want it to be constantly moving and then be able to use our keys to get it to move, okay? So the key thing will be to get it moving first. So how should we get it moving first? Well, you could do whatever you want. I think the easiest thing is basically when we click this little the flag, okay? He'll start moving. And so what we'll do is we'll put that into a forever loop because like I said, we want him to keep moving forever, okay? And so what could we do? Well, let's just put him moving, so many steps. So let's go back up to motion, okay? Move 10 steps. 10 steps is a little fast, so I'll lower that down maybe to 3 or whatever. Okay, so if we just run this, so it says basically if I click on this, our banana, hopefully this isn't causing a problem. When clicked, forever, move 3 steps. Just, I don't know why that's doing that. Okay, there we go. Now what you'll notice is it moves and then it hits the edge. So some of you might have noticed that last week when you were moving it. And the program's still running, but it's basically just frozen there. Now, the easiest way, we'll just stop that, move them back. The easiest way to sort of avoid that is you can actually get it to bounce. And so back into the motion ones here, if on edge, bounce. So that actually solves part of the problem. Hit this again. So it hits. Now it will rotate. We won't worry about that, but it will bounce back and forth. So in a way, we've got it moving forever, okay? This would keep running until we turn off the computer or close the program or whatever the case is, okay? So that's pretty good, okay. Now we have to get it to change direction. Well, what did we do last week? And this is always the thing with programming as well, is that you're going to build on your knowledge. Whatever we learned last week, you've got to use this week, okay? I always like, like learning a language. When you learn French, possibly for the first time, what did you learn? Probably the first word, maybe hello, like bonjour, right? And could you forget that? No, right? You have to keep that going and going. Same thing in programming. Same thing in math, right? You learn to add 1 + 1. Could you forget that in Math 8? No, you need to know that concept. Same thing in programming. You got to remember these things. So what we're going to do is simply press a key and change the direction. So let's just do one of them. So when, let's say, I press the up key, okay? Makes sense, right, in terms of direction. What are we going to do? Well, we're going to change the direction. So let's go back to motion. We saw that before, that we could just simply point in the direction. So I'm going to grab this guy, put it on there, click on it, and I can set it. Most likely, if it's up arrow, I'm going to get him to point up. So if I hit play again here, okay, so he's still going to run and bounce, but if I press that up arrow, ooh, he moves up, and then now it automatically moves down. So what I'd like you to do, and I'll leave it here because I think this is more than enough for you to be able to figure out the rest. What I'd like you to do is be able to access those 4 or 3 other arrow keys, right, left, up, and down. We've already done the up one, and get it to use, if you press one of those keys, that it changes the direction, right? Either left, right, up, or down, okay, with those key presses. So you've already got it moving. You've already got it going up. We just need those 3 other directions. Last thing I'll say, this is not the only solution. Programming, like math, right? Like an English essay, you can answer it in multiple ways. Some ways are better than others in terms of complexity, some to give, better functionality, whatever the case is. But this here, the example I've given you, is not the only way. So don't think that you come back to the video and, oh, I did it a different way, it's wrong. If it works, it's a different way. It might not be as good. It might be better than this way, right? It depends on the context. So don't be worried that if it's working, then you got your code, it's a little bit different. Don't worry if you did it differently. Show me. And if I think it's, if there's something really wrong with it, I can help you out and fix it. But I'd prefer that you experiment and try things out than just copy. All right, so I'll end this video here. Go ahead and try that. I don't think it's too long today. One last thing that I'll mention, you can either share, if you're having trouble sharing, you can always, I believe, save to your computer. It will give you a file, an S3 file, an SB3 file, okay, and you can hand that in to me and I can view it. Share is the easiest if you get that share link, right? So if I hit that share and you get the copy that link, and then you paste this link to me. That is the easiest, okay? But if you're having trouble with that, feel free to use that save one as well. Okay, good. Okay, good luck with it, and we'll see you later.